We discussed that I guess we had a beginning conversation as it relates to eating with the enemy, which could mean any number of things. But I have been focusing most recently on the effects of communication and the effects of social media in particular, and how they affect each of us individually. It is a different time and a different place in our history. And I guess that I begin that thought process by looking back and saying, I wonder what would have happened to politicians, individuals, sporting figures, people who are in the public eye in particular, if social media existed 40 years ago. What would the world look like today if that was the case? How would people interact? How would they guard what they say? How would we, in fact, judge comments and perspectives, etc.? Everything has become a political campaign of sorts. And social media, while it has done some wonderful things, it has really been deleterious to lots of people, very, very difficult, and created lots of thought processes which do get you to spiral from time to time as to what you're thinking, trying to think through what you're saying and how you're acting, and then how you're being judged. I'm firmly of the conviction that no matter how well-intended you are on an issue, almost any issue, there's going to be somebody who will take umbrage with it. Someone who will look at it and say, that's not right. You should have looked at it this way. And what has happened in our country and throughout the world really is it's created divisions, it's created a lot of bad feelings. And I wonder myself if those feelings existed a long time ago, but were not ever displayed because there wasn't social media, or if those issues have become more pronounced now because of social media and our communications, geography, what we have available to us from a technology standpoint. The most interesting portion of it is that each of us, we make a bunch of decisions about who is a friend, who is an enemy, who do we like, what attitudes do we care about, et cetera, et cetera. But we also are obligated at the same time to live in a world where there's disagreement, to live in a place where there's, not unanimity on too many subjects. And when you sit down, and using dinner as an example, or you sit down with other people, you have to wonder about your conversation. If I start talking politics at a particular table with, let's say, 6 or 8 people there, am I going to offend everybody? Is it important that I come to that dinner knowing what everybody's political opinion is? It used to be, in a kinder time, I guess, that you can have a discussion, and the discussion would be just that, a discussion. It may be something that turns to anger, but generally it's a discussion. Now people come in with predispositions about issues, and you become a little self-conscious of what you say and do because technology allows for any number of outlets of that information, and it can be judged any number of ways. So I remember working in an environment where collegiality was the number one thing. Let's create a great culture. Let's create a great environment. Let's be the best we can be for everybody, give everybody an equitable chance, et cetera, et cetera. And it seems to me that today we don't have that goal going into the development of a company and or the development even of a team. There seems to be this idea that it doesn't work unless you argue about it or unless you have a different feeling about it. So I think as it relates to interaction and this whole idea of going down a path that is complex and difficult, is that you have to decide if what you say you are convicted to, and you say it in a way that is less threatening, but enables you to get your point across. I think one of the things that is highly underestimated, and it always has been, is the art of communication, is the ability to speak to people in a way that is maybe a disagreement, but a disagreement with at least with a, if not a smile on your face, a disagreement with a certain degree of, this is my point of view, but I'm willing to listen. And I think the only way you can escape from going down that rabbit hole and going down in flames, so to speak, is to have your point of view, but have an open mind at the same time. And if the person you're talking to or persons you're talking to truly believe you're listening versus just simply telling them what they should or shouldn't believe, your chances of getting through a difficult relationship or a difficult dinner or a difficult circumstance is greatly enhanced by the fact that you've convinced people, or at least you've allowed people to believe that you're speaking and listening, and that listening avoids some of the conflict that one may have. So I think the bottom line is, on the good side, is the positive side of all of this is it opens your mind, and it creates a space where you can be inviting of new ideas, inviting of certain concepts, etc. And the truth be known, no matter how strong your feeling is about something, the fact that you would listen and give credibility to the people you're talking to allows you to maybe come to a compromise or to get to a certain place. Look, even the conversation we're having right now, even this particular point of view seems so logical to me, but it doesn't mean it's logical to other people. It seems so obvious to me, but it doesn't mean it's not obvious to other people. And if you took 100 or 200 or 1,000 or 10,000 people and they listened to this, a certain number of them would just poke holes and tell you how foolish that is and give you a different point of view. And the only way you can get along and figure it out is to make sure you listen, and either that listening opens your eyes to a new thought, or it convicts you to your thought process even more. So I think that from my perspective, I enjoy not confrontation, but I do enjoy conversation, and I do enjoy the exchange of ideas. And then one makes up their mind as to what they believe and how they internalize it. So there is, I guess, something called dining with the devil. And at the end of the day, you just have to listen. And whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. And sometimes it's mind changing, and other times it's mind convicting.